Normally, I don't talk about an anime series until all the episodes have already aired, but this time I had to make an exception. I've never seen an anime series get backlash quite like this. There have been controversial anime series over years, but many fans of the series come to its defense and try to quiet down criticism. For this anime series, though, not even fans of the series could quiet down the outrage people felt. The anime series I'm referring to is Re Monster. This is a brand new Isekai anime series that started airing this season. I will talk about one major spoiler, so if you don't want to be spoiled, it's best to click off the video. Re Monster has been a popular series for many years, but just recently got an anime adaptation. It's an anime series where the main character is reincarnated into a goblin. So when we think of goblins, we think of creatures that do terrible things to women. We have this perception of them because of a popular anime series known as Goblin Slayer. Even if it isn't fair to think of goblins that way, that's how many anime fans view them. So going into this, you have a feeling that the goblins may be awful creatures, and that feeling is confirmed when the anime series establishes early on the goblins do awful things to women that aren't goblins themselves. So at this point, you expect to see dark, horrific scenes of the goblins doing awful things to women. If that was shown, many people probably would have dropped this anime series early on. They would have been upset, but the outrage wouldn't be so bad. After all, what were you expecting? Goblins are shown to be these awful creatures early on. This anime series, however, went in a different direction that ended up making people even more outraged. So what happened is that the anime series made the main character out to be this decent person at first. Maybe he was a bit cold, but you feel like he was a good person deep down. He didn't like what the goblins were doing to the women. He felt very bad for them. And once he became a leader, he told the other goblins if they dare do anything bad to the women, he would kill them. He made an example of the goblins that went against his orders, and he killed them. At this point, you're thinking, what a good guy. He's a great guy that cares about his people and treats women kindly. Not once did he lay a hand on the women until they gave him permission. So far, this anime series is a lot like the anime series Reincarnated as a Slime. There is a lot of world building and community building. It seems like the next great Isekai anime series. This anime series gave us a false perception of the main character. Some people argue that he was always a bad person, but the anime series didn't do a good job at showing this at first. As the anime series went on, we got to see the main character's true personality, and people were in for a shock. The only reason why I didn't do terrible things to women early on was because these women in particular weren't a threat, didn't do anything bad to the goblins, and they gave up right away. They agreed to follow the main character's every command. In his mind, these women didn't deserve to be treated badly. They were helpless humans that were captured by goblins. However, the women that were captured after them were enemies right from the start. The elves tried to boss around the goblins, and the human woman was a powerful soldier that fought against the goblins during battle. The main character felt no sympathy for them. He locked them up in jail and did terrible things to them. And that's when the outrage started. The main character first started doing terrible things to the elves, and then to the human woman. When the terrible things were being done to the elves, it wasn't that obvious, so people didn't really understand what was happening. But in episode 6, the main character did something awful to human woman, and it was made obvious this time. People were shocked. Where was the kindness the main character showed early on in the series? If they knew he was going to be such a bad person, they would have dropped the anime early on. And that is why people were so upset. People thought they were going to get a great Isekai anime series about building up a community. Instead, it turned out to be an over-the-top, immoral power fantasy. The main character does act like an awful person at times. With Redo of Healer, maybe people treated that anime series as a joke and weren't outraged because this anime series clearly showed how awful the main character was early on, and made it quite obvious that this anime series is immoral. It's like they can't get that upset when the anime series was obviously trash early on. But with this anime series, it was seen as a pretty good and fun Isekai anime series. It had a cool main character that was confident and was a good leader. That's why people felt so betrayed and angry. People kept screaming they will drop this anime series and that this anime series is disgusting. They didn't understand why the main character was acting this way, when he acted so nice early on. He was not just perverted at first. The anime series probably cut out a lot of content that was in source material, and just sometimes characters don't show their true selves until later. This wasn't the only reason why people were upset. The anime series made these dark scenes to be a joke, and was trying to get the viewers to see it that way, which of course backfired. Whenever this sensitive topic is brought up, people don't want to see it be treated as a joke, and as a way to justify the main character's actions. Once you watch more and more of this anime series, you see the obvious signs that the main character is a scumbag. When he saves women, he thinks they should be grateful and should follow his every command. When he saves people later on in the anime series, he always saves the women and not the men. It's pretty obvious he is not saving them out of kindness. He is saving them because he wants to do lewd things to them later on. The main character cares about his people, but that doesn't mean he's a good guy. He is fine with doing awful things to prisoners. Ainz from Overlord was the same way. He felt nothing towards humans, and experimented on their bodies. The key differences, though, is that Ainz never once felt sadness about humans dying. They meant nothing to him. It's clear the main character in Remonster did feel bad for the women at first. The other major difference is that Ainz did terrible things to humans, but he never did perverted things to women. And we all know how sensitive people are when this kind of thing is shown. The backlash that Remonster got was so crazy to watch. All over Reddit, Crunchyroll comments, and my anime list forums, people were talking about how disgusting this anime series was, how they were going to drop the anime series because of the main character, and how this anime series treated these dark moments as a joke. I get why people were upset. They thought they were getting something like reincarnated as a slime, when really, it's more like redo of Healer. If they want to drop it, that's understandable. The reason why I'm not affected by these dark scenes, and why many other people aren't affected either, is because we are used to seeing disturbing and messed up content. What is shown in this anime series doesn't even compare to messed up things I've seen in visual novels. I don't really care if the main character is a horrible person. This is fiction after all, and I've seen much worse. Of course, I don't enjoy seeing the main character do awful things to women, but I'm more focused on the main character building his community. I'm still in shock though, because for once, an anime series actually got backlash, and it wasn't being covered up. Whenever there's something controversial being shown, fans of a particular series will rush to defend it. They will downvote any comments that they see as negative. Moderators on anime forums may even delete these negative comments. But here, you can clearly see the backlash. The angry comments on Reddit got a lot of upvotes, and the anime forums were filled with angry comments. This time, the backlash was clearly visible. I thought this Isekai anime series would end up becoming really liked by anime fans. Instead, it now has become one of the most hated Isekai anime series.